This is Dave with DRH Acrylic Creations. Today we're going to be doing a twin floating bloom. Pillow paint going down now. This is new to me. This is PPG Multi-Pro in an eggshell. I like this new pillow paint. It's nice and stretchy, but yet it flows nicely. So it holds up the color layer very nicely. Okay, a color layer is going down. This is all going to be cell activators. This is Indigo, and it's a Matisse color. It's mixed with 3 parts Australian Floetrol and 1 part paint. Here's the rest of them. It's the Indigo, Titanium White, and Iridescent Gold. The last two both are Amsterdam products. I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. What I'm trying to create is a frame for the floating blooms to appear to float. This is a new technique for me, and I'm sure that as that time goes on, I'll get better at creating the illusion. But that's part of the fun, is learning new techniques and trying to apply them to the work. I'm just trying to get some more gold in that. I noticed in the first couple of swipes that the gold didn't really stand up. Okay, this is the same color of iridescent gold, but instead mixed with my pouring medium. Pouring medium is 3 parts of Valspar Ultra to 1 part of Varathane polyurethane, triple thick. I'm adding some Sonja water there, and just to thin it down a little bit, because it often happens is when paints stay open or been a while in the process, they tend to thicken up just a little bit. Okay, this is Iridescent Gold. It's by Amsterdam, and again, that's mixed with my pouring medium. 3 parts of my pouring medium to 1 part paint. Next is Pearlescent White. This is a Sonja product. It has a very nice pearlesque feel to it, or look to it. Again, all of these are mixed, 3 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint. Okay, this is Iridescent Blue Black, and it's a Pebeo paint. It has almost a denim background. It's an interesting color. Adding a little bit more of the Sonja water, otherwise known as Jowa, and that's mixed approximately 9 to 1. You're just thinning the varnish down enough to be able to help the paint flow better. Think about the thinning of the paint. It's very personal. Everyone has their own fluidity of paint that they like to work with. This, again, adding a little bit of Jowa to be able to thin this out a little bit. And I think I went a little too far with this. It's a little too thin, but I rolled with it. This color is this little piggy, or TLP. It's called Supernova. Looks pink here, but on a dark background, it has a velvet blue look to it. It's an interesting paint. Pop in some bubbles. I think I mixed some of this paint up a little too vigorously, and it introduces bubbles into the paint. So at the end of it all, you have to get rid of those bubbles. They'll create freckles in the final product. Okay, this is some more of the Indigo that I had earlier, and what I'm adding to this is the Australian Floetrol. And it's to thin the consistency, but also gives the paint a little bit more ability to cell up. You have to be very careful when you start getting too thin with this, because the paints will start to break up and they'll fracture, and that's when you've broken down the binders too much. Okay, I'm going to put that in the middle. I want you to watch for the halo effect that happens. You can see that right around the outside of that dark. And that's what I'm looking for, because that'll tell me that it will sell up. Now this is the titanium white cell activator. And because I'm putting it on top of another cell activator, it doesn't give you the halo. Not usually. Sometimes it does, not this time. And I'm looking at the way that the white is flowing, and I would say I probably needed to thin it just a little bit. It's a ratio thing. And because I thinned down the little bit the indigo, and I didn't with the white, and so the white just doesn't want to react the same. What I'm doing here is I'm blowing out the petals. I'm showing the cells that have already opened up there. Picked up my straw, and that's just trying to get that white to open up a little bit. Modifying, giving you some more definition of each one of the petals. And then I'm going to play some games with each one of the petals. Break it up a little bit and give it some more interest. At this point, I'm pretty okay with the outside framing. Got a little bit of negative space there, more negative space there than I would have liked. And later, so I'm going to pick up my tool and try to pull some of this in, and just scooping underneath the paint and pulling it into the negative space. And that's something that's very difficult to do if you don't have enough of the pillow paint down. I was trying to correct that little bit of a slurpee I had there where I slopped it out when I pulled it across the dark. Okay, soft spin here. My rule of thumb for spinning, if you're going to do a long spin, it needs to be soft. If you're going to do a faster spin, it needs to be short duration, because a lot will change very quickly. I'm picking up a little bit of the paint that's spun off. I'm going to add it to the negative space area. Just I had a feeling that my negative space was just too much. I think that's what I'm showing there. So I'm trying to figure that out. I battled with that with this piece. It just felt like it got, because of being a rectangle, I got too much negative space for my taste. Soft spin. Usually when I'm spinning, I like to spin one way and then I spin the other. Keeps the cell, the way the cells have formed, it keeps them true. They don't get wonky on you that way. There's a lot of schools of thought with that. You just need to find which one works for you. Okay, about this time I said, well, I'm not happy with that negative space over on the one side, so I'm going to bring in my paints and I'm going to do a second bloom. At this point, at the end of it, I was like, is it a good idea or was it a bad idea? Let me know what you think down into the comments. I certainly have my opinion about it at this point. You know, I layered it slightly different than I did the last time. And by slightly different, like completely opposite. Okay. And same problem with this. The white just didn't want to move. So it was after the fact when you see that and you go, oh yeah, that probably needed to be thinned out. That's always such an easy thing to do. Just add a little bit of Floetrol to it, the Australian Floetrol to it for the cell activators, and a little bit of the Sonja water for the paint layers. But you got to notice it. It wasn't until this moment that I noticed that, oh, well, I guess that didn't work the way I wanted it to. And so I picked up my straw and I'm trying to encourage the cells to pop open. It usually works. It's working on this. Picked up my skewer and I'm going to do some modifications with that. I really didn't get petals with this, and so I'm just going to have to work with it. These are my tweezers. Evidently I must have something from the paint, goober from the paint that's in there that I'm trying to pick out. That happens. Older paints, when you've let them sit around for a while, they will get gunk in it, dried pieces of paint that end up in your final paint. If you don't catch it when it's going down, then you have to pull it out later. And spin it out, see what I can do with that second bloom. Picked up my tool and I'm going to pull some of the paint out. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm pushing the tile off center, so the part that's on the furthest point out is the paint is going to go in that direction. And notice I'm doing a very soft spin on this because it will affect the change very quickly. You can see where I lost most of my frame out there. It opened up the white area, which is not what I really wanted to do. So now I'm just standing back and deciding if this is what I want, or if I need to do more, or if I've done too much already, and what's next. I wonder if I'm done with this one. I think that's enough. Pick this up and let you have a closer look at it. And I think it's time for the flyover. You can see that I did get quite a bit of cells on this, and although some of them are a little bit wonky, it's not horrible. Well, if you found this video today useful, I'd invite you to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification of future videos. Thanks for coming along on this journey today. I want to thank you for being here and hope to see you again soon. Hope you have a great night. Bye now.